There are so many reasons not to skip breakfast. So many savory, mouth-watering, tasty, delicious beyond all belief reasons. Actually, that last one was pretty convincing. Stop by for a McDonald's breakfast. Mix and match a sausage biscuit, sausage McMuffin, sausage burrito, or hash browns, any two for just $2. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with combo meal.
Meyer brand lunches keep kids fueled for back to school. Start with a wholesome sandwich made with our honey-roasted deli-sliced turkey breast and provolone slices on Meyer's split-top wheat bread. Add a side of fruit with Meyer applesauce squeezable pouches. Treat them at school, after school, or anytime with assorted fruit-flavored snacks. And pack it all up fresh and neat with Meyer brand sandwich bags and napkins. Discover big taste and bigger savings when you go back to school with Meyer brand.
This is your host, Tia. This is your host, Tia. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Top 10. Live. Geek Vibes Nation. Geek Vibes Nation. Nation. The Top 10. The Top 10. The Top 10. All right. For some reason, I felt like starting this top 10 off in my best Matthew McConaughey impression. So welcome, everyone, to another amazing episode of the Top 10 by Geek Vibes Nation. As always, I'm your host, Tia, and I have with me the amazing itty bitty Brittany. How you doing?
I'm good. We were just talking about how I've been playing Drug Dealer Simulator, and now all I'm sitting here thinking is, I wonder how I'm going to do really good at that game next time.
For no, Brittany's not saying that she has personal experience in the real life. She's just saying she's going to do really well in the video game next time she
I have
streams
the
on
energy
Twitch.
for it. I'm an overachiever.
She's what's it called? A-type personality.
Yeah, something like that. No, in real life, I'm a wuss. Don't you be lying to them.
I'm trying to hype you up here to our listeners, but we are here with another amazing top 10, and we are talking about a subject that Brittany is very much an expert on. I always tell you guys that I'm not so much of an expert on, but it is the top 10 most difficult, hardest, most frustrating levels and missions in video games. And I'm going to say it's some of them, because obviously what's frustrating or whatever to us may not be that way to others. We may have things on this list that you go, oh my God, I was so good at that, and yada, yada, yada. But for us, it was the most frustrating and difficult levels and missions in video games. So I'm super excited about this. Brittany, you play video games literally for a living, so I'm sure you have plenty for our top 10 today.
There's some that you just sit there and go, man, like, there's been levels in games where I'm like, especially if I'm streaming it and it's hard, I will sit there and I'll go, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to beat this game just because I dread so badly doing that one little mission again and seeing if I'm going to fail all over again. Because there's some like levels where you're like, that was hard, but I feel accomplished afterwards. No. Some are just the worst.
I will say, so a lot of the missions on this list are going to be from GTA 4. And I say that because, if you play GTA 5, right, and you're doing a mission, not only does that mission have, say, checkpoints, but if you say fail something 3 times, it actually allows you to skip it. But in GTA 4, there are no mission checkpoints. So say it's a long mission and you literally die like right at the end. You got to do that shit all over again. And there is absolutely no skipping it. You have to beat that to get to the next thing. So it's like, for me, that was the most frustrating part of the game. And I remember the first time I played it, Paulie was like, this feels like this is taking you forever to do this story mode, right? As opposed to, say, GTA 5. And I sat there, I go, probably because some of these missions I've literally, and I'm not even joking, have done it 10 times. And it's like, that must be why it's taking so freaking long. So yeah,
I can hear Polly giving me shit in the background.
No, Polly's not giving me shit in the background. He's agreeing with me. He said, yes, they lasted forever. Polly is my hype man. He's agreeing with me here.
I thought he was going like, yeah, it did take her forever instead of the other. I was like, oh no.
No, because Polly's literally seen me like get up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, go to the living room, and start playing. I said to him though, so like GTA 4, it's not available on the PS4. It's available on the PS3, which is in the living room, as opposed to the GTA 5, which is available on the PS4, which is in the bedroom. So I'm like, you should be happy that it's not on the PS4, because then I would just be taking up the freaking TV in the bedroom all the time.
Oh my God. If they say a new GTA is coming to the PS5, you're going to be sitting there like, I got to sell 80 for this. Like, I need to buy Grand Theft Auto.
I always said that, I like right now I have no desire really to get the PS5 just because there's nothing I want to play. But if they either remastered SSX Tricky or came out with a new SSX and they decided to remaster GTA 4 and it was all available on the PS5, then I'm going to have to sell some kidneys to get the PS5.
Oh my gosh. You know what's bad is I have a PS5 and I haven't hardly touched it, and I got it release day, and I've had people that are like, they're like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. I just haven't, there's not a lot of games out for it, right?
Next time I go to Arkansas, I'm just going to take it home with me.
No, I need it. I don't know why I need it, but I need it.
No. You're a PC gamer. You have no need for consoles.
I know, it's kind of true. That's kind of the hard thing about when you stream is I have a game capture card which allows me to play, console games while streaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that, viewers can see me play the game, and I'm just like, but off stream, I'm like, I'm going to play on my computer or on my Nintendo Switch, which I'm still going to beat your ass at Mario Kart.
Yeah, you're not, but anyway.
No, I am. I am what I am, Tia.
Well, I am super excited for us to get into this top 10. So let's, of course, give a huge shout out over to our friends over at Stranger Damies. As you guys know, Stranger Damies is a huge, I don't know what I was going to say a huge friend of ours, and I was like, that's not proper grammar. But, that's how much we love Stranger Damies that I apparently get tongue-tied while speaking about them, which I feel as if I've been getting tongue-tied lately. Quick little interjection here. I recently interviewed this actor, Luke Cook. You can find that interview on our YouTube page, Geek Vibes Podcast. He was amazing. If you guys are fans of the Netflix series, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, then you will know him as Lucifer. And he came on to promote his new horror movie called Eye Without a Face. And twice I said Eye Without a Trace. I'm mortified, but
oh no, I heard you say about that, and I was like, I felt so bad for you, because sometimes you just can't help but get tongue-tied, especially because I assume it's nerve-wracking doing the interviews as it is.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just kept saying it, and like he was a good sport about it. He made a joke at some point. He was like, "Oh, well, I don't know where you can find Eye Without a Trace, but you can find Eye Without a Face." And I was just like, I want to die now. Like, legitimately want to die.
Hey, at least you didn't call him the wrong name.
Oh, yeah. No, that is very true. But anyway, just an example of me getting tongue-tied. But please go check out our friends over at Stranger Damies. You can find them on Twitter and Instagram at Stranger Damies. They are a Dungeons & Dragons D&D podcast from the main Damie family of podcasts, and they're just awesome freaking people. So make sure you go check them out. Make sure you're checking out also our friends over at the Kinda Nerdy Girls. I have been on a few of their podcasts. They have been on a few of our podcasts. They're freaking awesome. You can find them everywhere, anywhere, Kinda Nerdy Girls. We love them. So those are just like two examples of awesome podcasts that you need to check out after you check out the top 10. So, just saying here.
You're like us first, we come first.
Of course, we always come first. But anyway, Brittany, just to let you know, in between this, I do have a few product placements, but I don't want to barrage everyone with them before we even get into the list. So let's do this. Let's get into number 10. What do you got for us?
I'm going to start off with a softball real quick because it's the one that I don't remember as much as when I was a child.
Okay.
See, I love the Resident Evil games, and I've slowly been playing through them, but I do remember the first Resident Evil I remember is Resident Evil 4. And, like, I don't remember a whole terrible lot about it, except I remember watching my big brother play it. He loved the game. But I remember... I remember too, it was back when Hastings existed, or I don't know if it was Hastings or Blockbuster we got it from, but Mom always had a thing that I could rent a game and he could rent a game. But we learned, we worked together on this. We find two excellent games that we'll both like, right? Mm. Which now I think Dakota was manipulating me because he always sat there and was like, yeah, this would be a great game. But it was always a game he wanted. But I digress. It was a great game. But, he would play Resident Evil 4, and one thing about it was they had the escort mission, and there's this girl, I'm trying to remember what her name is, Ashley, and she is the most annoying character of the entire game, and I still remember how freaking annoying she was, because she's like the president's daughter, so you can imagine what the stereotypical, president's daughter would be, like very, like, her voice is annoying. But the thing is so you have to keep her alive for, like, most of the game. And you can hide her, like throw her somewhere while you go fight ahead. But you could do this whole mission. And if she gets hit, like, twice, she dies. Because she's just weak and just absolutely pathetic. And so you'd be almost done with the mission. And her just get fucking, like, because there's booby traps in the game. Mm-hmm. And get hit by one of them. And I'm just like... And I remember my brother was never violent with games, but I remember him just staring at the screen. He's like, I fucking hate you, Ashley. He was so mad. Because, it's hard in the sense of, like, it's kind of like you said with GTA, where you do one mission, and and it lasts forever, and then you get almost to the end, and then they die, and you're like, I'm literally gonna have to spend an hour redoing this. And I remember, like, the game is good enough that, like, I don't remember the plot, but I remember how much, I loved watching my older brother play it. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, which I'm actually gonna start playing this game pretty soon. But I'm just sitting there, and I want to play it so bad, but I'm still dreading those freaking Ashley escort missions. And you know what an escort mission is, right?
Where you escort them around?
Well, it's like where you have to guard that character until you get through the mission. And if they die at all and you have to protect them, that ends the mission. Not you dying. Not, you didn't run out of a time limit. The person with you dies. I only asked you that because I know there's you play a lot of older games, and I didn't remember if the older games had a lot of escort missions.
So, referring it back to GTA 4.
Oh, no.
No, I wanted to say that really quick. In GTA 4, as Nico, you have to kidnap this, like, daughter of a mob boss, right? Gracie. And then at some point, then you have to deliver her back. But as Nico, you put her in the trunk because you're like, the first time when you kidnapped her, which sounds really bad, she was like fucking fighting you. So he's like, she goes in the trunk, right? So, the whole objective is like, don't destroy the car because, it'll kill Gracie. So I'm driving, and as I'm driving, some of like the mobsters from her dad's like mob are like shooting at you. And you're like, first of all, I have this bitch in the fucking trunk. So, but I'm driving, and then you get to Packy because you're supposed to be delivering it to Packy, and he like opens the trunk, and there's so many times where he's like, Jesus, Nico, her neck is broke. What the fuck? And I'm like,
oh shit.
And I'm like, I thought I was doing a good job.
Oh fuck, that's so awful. awful. That's so awful.
That's what it reminded me of when you said with the escort mission, just how you were like, God damn it, Ashley. And it's like, God damn it, Gracie.
Right? I was just like, what the fuck?
Oh my God. How old is Resident Evil 4 now at this point? They're at like 10, aren't they?
Yeah, Resident Evil 4, let's see, was 2005.
Wow.
So I was 9 years old when it came out, which holds up. No, actually I was 11. Wait. Yeah, I was 11 when it came out.
Yeah, because I was 15 and we're only 4 years apart.
Yeah, I was like, my bad. My bad.
No,
my bad.
I love it. I have never played any of the Resident Evil, so that's hilarious. That's how we're starting off the list. So Resident Evil 4, escorting Ashley around. If you guys are listening and you agree and you just were like, God damn it, Ashley, let me know. But that's a great way to start off the list. I'm going to hit number 9, and this is a really old game. But to me, it is so hard, and I have still not beaten it to this day.
Oh, man.
You're going to laugh because you're going to be like, Tia, that's like beginner level freaking video gaming, but it's hard for me. So I told you that growing up, right, my grandparents watched over me a lot. And my grandparents have the original Nintendo, the first Nintendo that has ever come out, right? And it is the final level in Super Mario Brothers. I still can't beat it to this day. Have you ever played like the original Super Mario Brothers or any Super Mario Brothers?
You know what's funny is like Mario's one of the hardest things for me. I've never actually truly beat it.
Yes, it's so fucking difficult.
I'm so bad at Mario that like everyone's like, oh my God, Mario's the best thing ever. And I'm like, I literally am the worst at this. I literally don't know how to play. Because I'll play those games where everybody's like, oh my God, Mario. And I'm like, Super Mario Sunshine's better.
Like, okay, so the original one, right? There's 8 levels, but there's 4 mini levels in each one, right? And I mean, it's all like kind of basically saying you start from point A and then you got to get to point B, but obviously it gets more difficult as like the levels go on. And I know most people will sit there and be like, yo, the water level is difficult. And it's like, I agree, water level sucks. But I can at least get through it after like 1,000 times of dying. I cannot, to this day, get through the 4th mini level of level 8. I have still not been able to rescue the princess. She is not rescued. She is still with Bowser.
She's still vibing there. She's out there somewhere. She's living her and Bowser have 5-6 children by now. They're like living their like Prince King life. You know, it's fine.
Yeah, by the time Mario actually gets there to save her, she's just like, nah, this is my like husband now. And it's like, what?
She's like, who are you? Who? Mario? I haven't seen you in 30 years.
And the thing is, like, my cousin Taryn and my cousin Dominique both can beat it. They've both beaten it. And I've spent so many days, so many hours. You know the song from Rent? Do you know that song? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Which one?
Hang on, I gotta bring it up because
is that the one that sings the time? Where
yes.
It's like,
yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. 5,000, 2,500, 600. 600 minutes. That whole song. Yeah, it's like that's how much I have played that game and still not been able to beat it. I'm so frustrated.
If I come over to your house and we play it and I beat it, I'm gonna make fun of you. But it's only I'm gonna make fun of you out of love because I'm the worst at that game.
Because it's just like you're Mario, right? And you're running, and it's like not only are you trying to, because the last level, right, is always the fire level. So you know, it's the 8th level. Obviously, it's going to be hard. You're literally jumping over lava. Fire's like coming from the ceiling, coming from the ground. There's like swords of flames like passing you, you know, da, da, da. So it's like not only do you have all this like fire shit and spikes and everything that you have to get over, right? Then there's at some point in the level that you have to jump over and in between these different like floating sidewalks or whatever, right? But it's like if you don't do the right combination, it just goes in a loop. It just goes in a loop constantly.
What?
And then not only that, but there's a time limit. So then suddenly you get that little sound that's like, you better hurry up. So now your anxiety.
The panic sound where you're like, oh my God, this is the worst sound I've ever heard.
So now my panic is going. And then you finally get to Bowser. And again, you have to jump over this chain of flames. There's flames. He's spouting flames. He's jumping. And it's like, I can't do it. I have never been able to do it, ever.
You know what? I think that's what we should do when I come over. I think we need to play Mario together.
Well, we got to go to my grandparents because it's still there.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we need to also play SSX Tricky.
Yes, that 100%. I have that. But my grandparents...
And I'm still going to beat your ass at Mario Kart.
You're not going to, but it's okay.
I'm going to beat your ass at Mario Kart.
Anyway, the final level of Super Mario Brothers on the original Nintendo, to me, is the most difficult thing because I, to this day, at the age of 31, have still not been, and I have been literally playing this shit since I was a child. That's what I used to do. Like, play that and Duck Hunt all the time, constantly at their house.
Duck Hunt.
Yeah. And you got to remember...
Don't you find it funny that you can't play Duck Hunt on modern TVs now?
Yeah, which is so weird. It's like, how was that able to be a thing back in the old bubble TV?
It was the, what's it called? CRT TV? I can't remember. How do you say it? CV? I don't know how to say it. It was the way that the TVs were set up back then, like the type of TV.
Which kind of sucks because Duck Hunt was like hella fun to play.
It was.
It really was. I'm just saying, if you think about like how the controller for the original Nintendo was, it's just like the rectangle. There's only like 2 buttons, but man, you smash those buttons so hard as you're trying to like get around. Oh my God. It's difficult as hell, and I still haven't been able to beat it. So yeah. And again, I'm sure some people who are listening are like, wow, that thing came out like 40, 50 years ago and you still haven't been able to beat it. It's like, as Brittany said, they made those, as simple as they look, they made those games so hard.
They're so hard. It's just jumping. It's just jumping.
It's just
jumping.
That's another thing. It's just jumping. In the original one, Mario doesn't, you know, throw anything. He doesn't like fucking shoot shit. He's literally just running and jumping. And for some reason, it's I can't. I'm getting like flashbacks and it's traumatizing. So let's move on. No. So let's move on to number 8. Brittany, what do you got?
I think what I'm going to go for is, there was another one I had on the list that I was trying to remember off the top of my head of just a really, really hard level. But, you know, I think, I'm trying to think which one. I'm actually going to go ahead and go with Star Fox Adventures because there was this one mission as a kid where, you have to do a strength test against this other, like, and Star Fox Adventures was like Star Fox, right? And you were Star Fox. But in Star Fox Adventures, instead, you're actually running around as Star Fox and, like, you know, doing little missions and stuff. And there's, like, a dinosaur planet, and you're, like, traveling around to these different planets, right? Mm-hmm. But it was really heavily disliked by a lot of people, but I actually loved the game. But there's, I think it's, like, the Lightfoots, which are like I think they're like basically look like raptors, like they're like raptor people, and you have to like do a test of strength, but you have to hit it's like an A button smasher, like where you have to type it super fast, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna like, normally those are hard, but they're not too hard, where you have to just rapidly hit A. It was so hard, Tia. Even my older brother. I remember me and Dakota, there was even one time we like double did it, like with both of our thumbs on it, just fucking whacking each other's thumbs as hard as we could, as fast as we could. And we could not beat it. And my brother was like awesome at smashing the A button, like, you know, like tapping it super hard. And we kept losing and losing and losing. And I remember, I think there's even one of, I don't remember if it was that part or a later one where you had, or if I'm a different game I'm thinking of, where you know how you would have to rotate like the little joystick part? We would have burns on the middle of our hands from trying to fucking like spin this motherfucker to like get it to go, but the friction of the little joystick would literally burn or like callus a little spot in the middle of our palms. But I remember we could not hit the A button fast enough in this, like, because I think it's like you're trying to push each other off of something in the game. But you couldn't go any further in the game. And we're like, it's ridiculous. It's not even a test of like how fast I am. It's not even jumping at that point. It's just like literally how fast you hit this A button. And I remember, you know, we were like, oh, we can't ask our parents because they're not going to know how to tap this A button fast enough. And I remember we finally went to my dad and we're like, Dad, please, you're our only hope. Because we were so young. I was probably again where I was like 9 to 11, depending on the age. And I remember he was like, watch this. And he fucking did it. I think I got the second try. And we're like, oh my God. He's basically like, I am your God now type of moment. But I still think back to that moment where I'm like, God, that was infuriating. Because you couldn't do anything. You just had to hit this A button and you couldn't go any further. And we're like, we're never going to be able to beat this game. Because, you know, when you're so wore out, when it's like a physical feat, like you're like, I didn't realize I was going to be sweating, legitimately sweating, trying to beat this game. Holy shit.
So it's so funny because those sort of things are the ones where you're literally standing up. Like you're standing up and you're with the controller and you're just like, why is this not going?
And you're like, why am I having to use my full body for this freaking game? And that was before the Wii came out.
Oh my God. No, I know what you mean because you're sitting there and you're like, how much faster am I supposed to press this button? Like, what were the game developers thinking?
They were thinking, you know what? We're going to make these children rip their hair out and make them hate life.
They were trying to give you some sort of exercise before the Wii came out. It's like, all right, we know that they're going to at least have to work out that one, like, arm of theirs. Right?
Oh, my God. Yeah, I know this is like a little one, but I'm telling you that it was traumatizing. It's been, let me see, when did this game come out? Let's see, Star Fox Adventures, let's see, Fox Adventure.
2002.
Yeah, what the what? I was, 8 when that came out? It was so traumatizing, Tia. It was traumatizing because I loved that game. I loved it. Like, it's still, like, to me, holds up, even though it's, like, it has horrible ratings, if I remember correctly. And people openly are like, oh, my God, what is this game? And I'm like, no, stop. It was good.
Don't you hate that when you enjoyed a game and people sit there and go, oh, it was terrible? And it's like, I loved it.
Like, let me nostalgic-gasm over it. Like, let me let me hold on to these memories.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, guys.
Bastards.
I love it. Star Fox Adventures, the test of strength. I feel like you should definitely play this on stream so that you can have a same reaction now as an adult, having to like literally break your like fingernails on this shit.
You're like, I was like, I'm still thinking, I'm trying to think what game gave me the freaking burn on my hand. Like I was like, legitimate, like, oh my God, I just didn't realize it was so physical.
It was so physical. I'm
so
working
physical.
out. I love it. Great number 8, Brittany. Star Fox Adventures, the test of strength. I am going to put, so these are little ones before I get to like the GTAs, because you know that they're on this freaking list, obviously. This is an oldie, but and I forget if you did or didn't. Did you ever play Guitar Hero?
Yes. but only a little because I never had a PlayStation 2. So the couple times I got to play it was at Walmart, where you feel like the displays are going to break your neck from like staring up at them.
Oh,
I know you don't have Walmart, so I don't know if you remember those kind of displays.
No, I mean, we had like
my brother.
We had like Best Buy, and it was the same thing where it's like,
oh, she's bougie. She had Best Buy.
Oh my God. Oh. So, all right. So this, you may not know then what I'm talking about. I do suggest YouTubing it, but it was on Guitar Hero 3. And the final song that you had to go through was this song called Through the Fire and the Flames.
Yes. 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 I know what you're talking about. 'Cause one, I love that song. Two, I've played it.
Oh
and
my God.
I beat it, but I wanted to die.
Yeah, I beat it too, but not until like 1,000 tries. And even when it was on easy. And I'm like, how are people playing this on hard?
You're like, it's because they had the pick of destiny, Tia.
They did. I just remember, like, because I loved Guitar Hero, right? First of all, someone who very much loves rock music. So, and always wanted to learn how to play guitar, even though I never did. But it was so much fun playing Guitar Hero, all of them. And you always look forward to, like, what's the final song to play. So then when Guitar Hero 3 came out, it's like, ooh, what's the final one? And then you see it, right? Because remember when you play, at first it's silent because the things are coming in. You're like, okay, right. And all of a sudden it's like, and it's like, oh my God, I'm trying to catch up.
You're like, what happened? You're like, everything was so fine until the Fire Nation attacked.
I just remember at first sitting there going, okay, cool. All right. And all of a sudden it going, you're like, I don't even know what to do with my fingers. That's not even humanly possible to move my fingers that fast.
And then you see people doing it at the hardest difficulty and you're like, you know what? Fuck you.
I used to watch that online or see people doing it in person. You're just like, go fuck yourself.
You're at that moment where you're like, nobody likes to show off.
I know, and I know this is so silly because it's like literally a Guitar Hero, and I feel like people don't even remember Guitar Hero, but to me, this was so difficult, and I just remember being so exhausted after playing it and just being like, please, mercy.
Where you're like, it's like, this is what my parents meant by taking care of my hands so I don't get arthritis. You're like willingly just doing it to yourself.
And then you kind of feel silly a little too after you've like beaten it on the guitar because you're like, yeah, I rock, I did this. And then you look down and you sit there and go, but it's not a real guitar. I suck.
Oh, Tia. That's the top 10 saddest things I've ever heard.
I really did try to teach myself guitar. I remember when I was younger, I got a job when I was 16. And, back then the minimum wage was so low and I was barely working. So you're not making a lot. And I literally took $150 and bought myself an electric guitar. And I was so happy. And I think I learned like the small note of Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones and never learned anything else. And so then I finally sold on Craigslist, I think about 6 years ago or 7 years ago or something like that.
Hey, it was an investment. You got some money back from it.
I actually asked for more than I bought it for. I remember my mom was like, you can't ask for more than you bought it for. I'm like, I barely used it. And I think I sold it for like $200. And the guy who bought it was willing. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. Hey, it aged like fine wine, Tia.
It was a nice fucking guitar. It really was. It was a really nice guitar.
Tia's like, Polly, I'm buying another fucking guitar.
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to try. But yeah. So
I love that, though. Because I definitely remember the struggle.
It was a struggle. It was legitimately a struggle, and I remember sitting there going, why is this so hard? Jesus Christ, I feel as if no other final boss levels on Guitar Hero were this freaking difficult. So yeah, it was pretty difficult. So number 7, Through the Fire and the Flames, Guitar Hero 3. Brittany, what is your number 6?
I think I'm gonna go with okay, so did you ever play any of the Pokemon games?
Which Pokemon games on the Game Boy or yeah. I
Like
don't
Pokemon Yellow and
on the
those
Game Boy.
ones. Yeah, on the Game Boy.
Yeah. I think I played Pokemon Yellow. Maybe one of them.
Okay, because Red and Blue came out first, and then Pokemon Yellow came out where you had Pikachu following behind you.
I think it was the one where Pikachu followed behind me.
Oh, yeah, see, as a child, and I'm trying to remember exactly which level it was, or exactly where it was, but I remember there would be like these ice levels, right? Where where you have to like slip and slide across the ice in a certain pattern to be able to go to the next area, and if you messed up, like went over the same area twice, no, that's the other one I'm thinking of. But you had to slide in a perfect pattern, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes they would have it where you could, if you slid over the same area twice, it would break through and you'd have to start all over again. But I remember almost crying in frustration because there was this part where I was just like, I can't figure it out. I can't figure out this ice level. Like, I'm never going to be able to get past it because I'm trying to think how to explain it. It was like a maze of ice, right? Like where it would just be ice sitting there. And it was like a labyrinth. Like you had to go in one direction and then go left and right and down until you lined up perfectly with like the entrance to the next area. And I remember it got so hard, I just wanted to cry. And there was another case of me looking to my father and going, please. And as a kid, what's funny is you sit there and you're like, there's no way my parents are going to understand. There's no way they can actually beat this game. And I remember my dad looking at it and I was just watching him. And suddenly he beat it and he was like, there you go. And I was like, oh my God, once again, you are a god. How did you do this? But I remember it's funny as you age because every Pokemon game has these, right? Where it's like the little ice pattern where you have to, normally it's through like the ice Pokemon gyms or like through a certain like mountain that you have to get through. But I always thought they were so frustrating. And it's funny now as an adult, I'm like, did I get better at this or did they just make it way easier because they were making children cry? Because I sit there as an adult where I'm like, oh, I actually love these now. But as a child, I wanted to rip out my hair, Tia. It was bad.
So I don't remember an ice level from the Pokemon games. Paulie goes, oh, I do.
They sucked. I'm going to find a picture for you.
Okay, find a picture and send it to me. But what I remember from the I swear I really don't know like what freaking Pokemon game I had for the Game Boy. I want to say it was the one where Pikachu follows me. It definitely wasn't red or blue. It was either gold or silver. I want to say it was probably silver because I was like, I don't like gold, the color, so I'm going to get silver because I'm edgy like that. But
oh my God.
To me, the only thing I remember like being super frustrating about those Pokemon games was just wanting to take a stroll in the grass and all of a sudden, and it's like, no, I wasn't trying to fight right now.
You're like, violence isn't always the answer. I just sent you a message. I sent you the image. Like, it shows how to do it. But imagine being, like, super young, super little baby young, and you look at it and go, oh, my God, how am I supposed to do this?
Let me see. It's not loading. God damn it. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I do remember seeing these.
They suck. They sucked so bad as a child where I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Do you remember, by the way, how fun those Pokemon games were on the Game Boy? Like something about the screen being barely bigger than our cell phones and having like horrible graphics was just classic.
Oh, it was beautiful. I remember like all the batteries I went through. And then I remember when they started having like where you could get a charger for it so that you didn't have to like constantly replace the batteries. So I was like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life. But, it's like I love the old Pokemon games. I just feel like the newer ones just don't hold up as much, but I feel like it's because they added so much.
Well, do they make them anymore for like handhelds? Isn't the only handheld right now the Switch?
Yeah, the Switch, they did make one for the Switch.
I will say that there's something classic about the graphics. Like, I remember they made, Pokemon games for, I think, the GameCube or something, but then it was like more of an arena and everything, and I'm like, I don't know, I miss like
Coliseum or like the N64, like Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
I
about.
love the Pokemon Stadium one because it's like where this like the little mini games you could do.
Yes, I do remember that. By the way, everyone, I'm eating ice cream right now, so if you hear me gnawing on something, that's it.
Girl, if you're gonna, you better share. You bring enough for the class.
But yeah, so what you want to say is Pokemon Yellow, the ice level? Is that what it is?
I think it's actually Pokemon Gold and Silver that one's from, and it's probably the one I'm thinking. I'd just say Pokemon Silver.
Okay, cool. So the ice levels sucked. Fuck those ice levels.
Pick a color. It's probably going to be in the game.
All right, so I'm going to do number 5. And this is actually going to be, it was funny that we're talking about ice, and you mentioned SSX Tricky before, because it's going to be the final track in SSX Tricky. And while I love this game, back when I was first playing SSX Tricky, I found the final level of the Alaska, because that's where it literally was called Alaska. Every other level was called like something else, even though they were in various parts of the world. This was just called Alaska, and it was, to me, the most difficult level and the longest. And there were so many times that I never made it into first. I'd either make it into third or not even place or anything like that. And there's so many parts in it where if you don't jump, you can just end up in, outside the borders, or you get knocked down, or you don't make a turn, or there's different levels where you literally have to go over these bumps and everything. And if you don't jump while you're going over the bumps, you could literally fall into the cracks. So,
oh no!
Yeah, it was super.
So not only did you have to win, but you had everything working against you.
You had everything working against you, and I wouldn't say it was annoying. I never felt annoyed, but when I replay SSX Tricky, I never really play the Alaska level, because even when I went back and played SSX Tricky a few months ago, I went to play the Alaska one. I was like, this is still difficult. I'm still really not placing, or I'm getting third or second, and on easy too. And then I put it on, because there's 3 modes in SSX Tricky, and I put it on the expert, and I was sucking. Everyone was getting ahead of me.
I'm going to say, there's some games I've said with the other ones where you feel like, oh man, they got so much easier with age. I must have been dumb as a kid. And then there's others that you're like, nope. I can't believe in child me tried to attempt this. Good on me. Good on you, child me.
Good on you, child me. Yeah, it was surprising.
You had hopes and dreams once upon a time.
Yeah, and what's the funny thing is, all the other SSX Tricky levels, either you can tell that I don't know how to explain this. They were made courses, right? They had ramps and rails and everything like that, but the Alaska course was only just natural stuff. It was the natural ice, stuff of Alaska and everything like that. So everything of it was very natural looking. So I'm wondering if that had a huge amount too, that didn't have any sort of cheats in it or anything like that. It was difficult. Ask any freaking SSX Tricky player, and it was not the easiest track to get through.
You make me wish I would have been a little bit older to have because I had forums, but it felt like you were really in the heyday of the forums for things that you liked.
Forums were, when I look back on it, forums were freaking the social media before social media was a thing. The SSX forum was so poppin'.
Oh my gosh.
That's where we shared stories. We shared, fan art and everything. We talked about the levels. We talked about the characters. There was the behind the scenes things. I mean, and even some of the developers for the game would kind of drop into the forums and talk with us and everything.
That's badass.
It was so cool being an SSX fan back in the day. Our forum definitely was popping.
It really, I know it's going to sound silly. I have such like a strong yearning. Like, you ever miss something so bad it makes your chest hurt? And it's like, I really miss like the old days of video games, because I miss like G4. I miss like all these like videos about this is the upcoming games, and like, oh, here's some cheats, like here's this coming, and here's how this game rated. And like, just more of the video game culture back then was just it felt so new.
It did. And I'm going to say this with like my full chest. I miss the SSX days like nobody's business. I miss being on the forums. I miss like really being into it, and really like, that's where me and my friends Sarah and Amanda communicated, and we had fun and everything like that. I mean, I will say that I miss those days like nobody's business, where literally the best thing ever was just going home, turning on the PS2 and playing SSX Tricky. And it's so funny because it's not an open world game, right? You can't do anything. It's literally, you pick a character, you play a track. And I'm sure for some people that might sit there and go, that sounds boring. Once you beat everything, like, what's there to do? And it never felt boring to me, even though I beat all the levels, unlocked all the characters, unlocked, all the outfits and the boards. It just never felt boring to me. I just could keep going and going and going. So I don't know. I love that shit. But Alaska was difficult.
Like, now I really do want to play. I really enjoyed the SSX Tricky that I got to play whenever, I just really loved you like reliving those days.
I don't know. It was fun as
There are so many reasons not to skip breakfast. So many savory, mouth-watering, tasty, delicious beyond all belief reasons. Actually, that last one was pretty convincing. Stop by for a McDonald's breakfast. Mix and match a sausage biscuit, sausage McMuffin, sausage burrito, or hash browns, any two for just $2. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with combo meal.
You didn't.
Yep.
I thought you learned your lesson.
I guess not.
Dad, the vultures are back.
Okay, kids, you know the drill. Windows up.
Gone too far looking for a good deal on gas? Try Price Match, only from BP Me Rewards at participating BP and Amoco stations. Learn more at bp.com/best price.
So I loved it. And again, if anyone is listening and they were an SSX Tricky player, which I feel like I realized that there was a lot more than I thought there was, because anytime I post something about it online, I always get a lot of comments and likes and everything. So I'm like, okay, people recognize that there was this great snowboarding game back in the day. So yeah, Brittany, when you come here, we're definitely playing some SSX Tricky, and that I am 100% going to kick your ass on.
I'm going to say, you know what? I won't even deny that one. Mario Kart, I got you beat, but you got me at SSX Tricky.
SSX Tricky. Yeah, I forget what it stands for, because it actually does stand for something, but I forget what it stands for. Really quick before we go on to the next thing, I think I told you that with SSX Tricky, they released this whole like that disc, right, had so much bonus features to it. So they did this thing where they literally interviewed all of the voice actors for the different characters, and they're interviewing the woman who plays Zoe, who's this like punk star, Biff Naked, and she's like, SSX, I thought it was SEX.
Oh my god.
SSX.
Did that bring back the old days for you?
Oh yeah. So yeah, Alaska in SSX Tricky, which is the final whatchamacallit, the final level in that game will be my number 5. Brittany, what's your number 4?
Let me look at my list here. What's funny is I wrote all my choices on a Post-it note at work.
Who writes things on Post-it notes? No, I'm joking.
The bitch that has to go work in an IT office.
Oh no!
I'm gonna go with the water temple levels in Zelda Ocarina of Time, because I'm telling you. So I still haven't played Ocarina of Time fully just as a normal game, because I did it as a randomizer, which means that when you open a chest, it could have a key item. You know, basically all the like key items that you need for the game are all jumbled up and mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can't really do anything unless you find a certain thing. Well, in the water temple, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. Basically, it's just, I'm trying to think of how to describe this. It's not that it's hard in the fact of like, oh, things trying to kill you, which yes, there is that. It's just, it's so puzzling and so confusing, and it's so easy to get mixed around because, you know, you have to shift the water levels up and down. So, you know, you can be like, oh, I got to get to this one area. Oh, but hey, I got to raise the water level to a certain area to be able to swim through that area. But, oh, I don't remember where the switch is to lower that again. You're just like, oh my God, I'm never going to get out of here. Like, I legitimately, like, normally I don't always let chat help me, like, cheat through where I need to go. But I was like, please help me, show me the right path.
Oh, wait. I think I, like, tuned into some of those days that you were playing Ocarina of Time because you were so mad. You were like, will I defeat it this time? I think you had to get Aaron to help you and shit.
Oh my God. So that was for like the shooting missions because you know how they started inverting things? Like, well, I'm trying to think how to say. Remember how in older games up was down and down was up?
Yeah.
Well, you know, that really confused me as a kid even then. And as an adult, a lot of them switched away from that, like in newer games. And so when it was the inverted controls, I was like, Aaron, please, I can't shoot these things. I need help.
But isn't there a way to, some games have it where you can kind of change it? There is no way to change the controls?
You couldn't change it in the older games. They didn't have the option for them, but I was playing on a magical online N64, totally legal, that allowed me to switch the controls, but it was still really confusing. Don't worry, it's a common stream thing. It's fine.
No, I love it. I think I said to you that I never played any of the Zelda games.
Which disgusts me.
The only time I ever like played Link or Zelda was literally in like Super Smash Brothers, you know, when you could play as them. So that's
oh my God, yeah.
But
it's just, it was so difficult trying to get those levels switched, and it's notoriously, seriously, one of the hardest like temples or like levels in a game, because if you look at what are the hardest levels? People go like, fuck that level. Like, because it's not even fun. It's not even fun. Like, you know how some are like, yeah, I really feel like that challenged me. I'm like, I feel like that level tried to murder me in real life.
I feel like that level decided that it wanted to roll me up in a rug and dump me in the water.
It damaged me, Tia. I'm not the same person since I played that game.
I feel like I want to play it now, but I don't.
You would love it.
But I don't have the GameCube or anything like that. So.
I will teach you the magical ways of playing it. It'll be fine. I'll teach you when I get there.
Okay, cool. So you say the water levels of the Ocarina of Time, which is so funny that you haven't played through that fully, because I feel like if you ask people who are fans of Zelda, they always attest that game as the best one ever.
Well, see, I've beaten it, but I played it as a randomizer, so it cuts through all the dialogue because none of the dialogue makes sense. So it's like playing the game without the story, if that makes sense. So you don't know what's going on.
Okay. I remember this is like way before Paulie and I lived together, but I would go over to where he was living at the time, and he was, I guess it had to have been a GameCube or something, but he was playing the Ocarina of Time, and all I remember from that frickin' game was the little like fairy that would follow Link around and go, listen,
Listen,
and,
Link.
and I'd always say, I'm like, this bitch is demanding.
I want to dress up as Navi for or Navi. I always, because her name is like Navigation. You know, like that's
Oh, I
supposed to
get
be the
it.
play on her name. So I don't ever know if it's Navi or Navi, but I want to dress up as her for a Comic-Con and just scream at people to listen.
No, you have to do it if there, because you know there's going to be people there who are dressed up as Link, and you just have to go up to them and shout, listen,
Listen!
listen,
Listen, Linda.
listen, Linda. Oh my gosh.
I love
So
it.
I love it. The water levels, Ocarina of Time, yes. Whatchamacallit it? Let's go to number 3. And this is where we get into the GTA realm.
I know, I knew it. I felt it.
I hope everyone's really, really excited for this, because I am. No. So this is in GTA 4, and the mission is literally called Three Leaf Clover. And just as a background, so you're playing obviously as Nico, and Nico during the course of the game has become friends with this guy Packy, who is part of like the Irish. It's not like a big mob, it's just his family, but there's like 1,000 of them, so you know they're little like
Bro.
Irish. So it's Packy, his brother Derek, and this guy Michael, and then Nico, and they go to rob the Bank of Liberty City. And it all, of course, goes to fucking shit, because the whole thing is like they go there, they're supposed to put the C4 against, the big vault and everything, and they're saying like, okay, no one make a move, everything will be fine, da-da-da. And of course, someone makes a move and people get shot and you have to grab the money. And so it's not necessarily that it's really difficult, it's just so long. And again, with GTA 4, sorry, were you going to say something?
No, I was just about to ask. I was like, and isn't it like where it's so long and then it messes up and you're like, oh, I can't wait to spend another hour of my life at this. And then I realized that's what you were saying.
Yeah, that's exactly, like, it's so long because it's like, okay, so you have to escape the bank. And obviously there's a fuck ton of police that you have to shoot your way through. And then you literally have to run with the other two because the guy Michael dies at the bank. So you're running with Packy and his brother Derek, all while trying to like navigate through all the millions of cops that are shooting at you. And so you're just running through all these streets trying to get through them. And then they send a helicopter. So then you have to run. So then you have to run down into the subway system, shoot your way through all of like the cops there. Then you literally have to run through like where the trains are. And so you have to avoid getting hit by the trains. Then you have to go up to the surface, find a getaway car, get in the getaway car, and then drive, but all again while cops are after you, and you have to then escape the cops. And at that point, you're at 6 stars, which means like literally they're just dropping cop cars out of the sky like onto you. Like God forbid you take the driving mechanics in GTA 4 are so like, I got used to it, but they're so, you can't make turns well. Like if you're going at a top speed and you go to make a turn, it's not going to just make a turn. It's going to be difficult as fuck. You're going to crash into things. And God forbid you like stall for a second. All these cop cars are just going to come after you.
Because they're waiting for you.
Yeah. So it's so long. And again, and it's fun. I will say it is really fun if you're the type of person who loves like shooting games and everything and like that, It's a lot of fun. But again, you could be literally at the end, right? You get in the getaway car, which is like the last thing. Okay, I got to just lose the cops. And then, I drop Packy off and I get the money. But you could die from that because you can't get away from them. They're shooting at you. made a wrong turn. The thing in GTA 4...
I'm stressed out just hearing it.
And the thing in GTA 4 as opposed to GTA 5, if you hit your car like enough times, it literally bursts into flames and then you die from that. Because in GTA 5...
What?
In GTA 5, it's like, do you know how many cars I've wrecked in GTA 5 to the point where, like, they have no doors, they have no roof, they have, like, no wheels, and they're still going. And I don't know how they're going, but in GTA 4, if you hit your car a few times, all of a sudden, like, someone in your car will make, like, a comment going, it's getting hot in here, and you'll see, like, the flames coming, and you're like, if you don't
no.
And if you don't get out of that car, it's going to explode. But Nico gets out of the car. You know who stays in that car? Fucking Packy and Derek. And if they die, the mission's over. So it's like... So then you got to do the whole thing all over again. So it's just so long. And there's so many
things. That
things.
means more money for you. So what the...
So it's such a long mission. And there's so much that could go wrong. And so it is one of the most difficult levels because, again, you can literally go through the whole thing. You feel so accomplished. You're like, I made it to the getaway car. And then you die because your fucking car decides to explode. And then you got to do the whole thing all over again.
That literally sounds like the worst.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I still haven't played any of the GTA games. I feel like I really need to because I feel like I'm like, oh, I stream. I should have played all the biggest games. But I'm like, but now that I'm stressed out.
Well, again, like GTA 5 is easier to play because, again, they have checkpoints and you can skip missions if they get too difficult. And I never feel I was going to put a GTA 5 on here, but I sat there and I'm like, none of them feel so difficult. Like, I've never felt in a GTA mission the way I felt in a GTA 4 mission, where, like, literally you've done it so many times that when you finally beat, you're like, oh, I got to save this, and then I got to walk away.
You know, it's funny you say that because, you know, I imagine you played GTA 5 first. So how did you feel coming from one to the other where you're like, this could be great. And you're like, oh, no, this is awful.
Well, I just remember being so confused at one point when I played GTA 4 and I failed the mission. It went all the way back to the beginning. And I was like, wait, there's no checkpoints. And the thing is, again, with GTA 4, like, it's not just redoing the mission all over again. It's like you got to drive to the location. So, like, say, you know, the mission entailed you getting in a car and driving literally from one point of the map to the other point of the map and then getting to it. It's like, it doesn't just restart where you end up. It restarts at the other end of the city. So it's like, you got to go through the whole driving thing. And it's like, it is a lot. It is a lot.
Oh, man. I feel like, can we cheat? Can we create save points for this?
I will say, though, like, what to me is the frustrating aspect about GTA 5, like, most of the missions for GTA 4, I think all the missions are, like, shooting missions, right? And GTA 5 has a lot of, like, not shooting missions. Like, you know, some of the missions are just so annoying that I don't even look forward to. Like, one of it is you're scoping out a boat dock. And I'm like, this is so tedious. I literally... at the second time I replayed GTA 5, I literally just, like, exploded myself 3 times just so I could skip it.
Oh my god. You unalived yourself like 3 times in the game just so you could avoid it?
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, sorry. Three Leaf Clover from GTA 4 is definitely one of the longest missions, one of the most tedious missions, but it is also one of the most fun missions, I will say.
Yeah, I feel like there's just a lot going on where it's like, you're definitely not bored, but...
You're definitely not bored. All the while, and one last thing. What's also frustrating is, so again, you're Nico, right? But
yeah.
You got Packy and Derek, and you're like, all right, I got to focus on me. But then you hear, like, Packy or Derek going, oh, man, it's really coming over on me, shit, oh, cover me. And you're like, oh, that's just random shit that an NPC says, right? No, if you don't then go help them, then they'll go, Packy's dead, and then that could fail the mission. Like,
what?
You have to make sure they're okay too, on top of everything else. Like, you got to make sure that they don't get killed on top of everything.
Well, that's just like Nico trying to take care of everyone in the game, so I guess fair enough.
Yeah, no, literally, like, no one can do anything in the game. Anytime you go hang out with someone, they're like, you drive. And it's like,
Nico is their daddy.
Nico is, yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Anyway, that's me. But Brittany, I can't believe we're already down to number 2. So
I think what's funny is it doesn't feel like, we just flown through. I just have had such a good time talking about each of them. I do think we should do more video game ones.
I do too. I'm having a really great time. So I'm almost kind of sad that it's almost over, but I am interested in knowing what you saved to number 2.
Tia, I don't know if you remember this. I'm trying to think of what it was called. Do you remember in the OG Sonic games, right? That you play on the Sega.
The Sega Genesis.
Yes. And do you remember how freaking infuriating the Sonic levels are, like the water levels? And hearing the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and you're like, oh my God, I need an air bubble. I need an air bubble. You're like trying to jump up for the air bubble, and you just can't. And you just slowly, and then it just stops, and his freaking just dead body floats to the surface. I'm going with the OG Sonic. I'm trying to think if it was called like Sonic Adventure or if it was just like, I gotta look it up because there was Sonic and Tails, all of them. I don't care which one it is, any of the Sonic games where it's the water level, because you gotta think about it. You're going so fast. I still hate it. That sound, that little music, that da-da-da-da-da-da-da, that speed up gives me nightmares. And I know this one seems so small, but I'm going back to my childhood here because there's newer games like, I could put like Dark Souls or Demon Souls, which are like notoriously some of the hardest games out there. Like, if you beat one of those games, you normally get like a pat on the back, and people are like, you know what, I respect you, because there is no difficulty level to those. That is just like, it's going in dry, Tia. That's how Dark Souls is. But there is something just horrifying about it, because with Sonic, you're going so fast, right? You're running so fast. And you're like, okay, I can hear these air bubbles. But if you mess up and take too many times, Sonic, when he stops moving, he slows down so much, and you have to pick up that momentum. And I just remember the little bloom noise as you're like, just kind of just trying to bounce up. You're trying to hit the air bubbles. You need the air bubbles. And just being so infuriated. I remember I just would beg my older brother, Dakota, I'd be like, please get me out of this level. Because I loved Sonic way more than I loved Mario as a kid. Because I was like, yeah, I still like the same thing, but look, I'm a fucking fast boy. Like, look how fast I am. But yeah, I know it's so ridiculous. I hate the water level. I have something against water, Tia. Probably because I have a fear of drowning. That might be it.
I am not judging you at all because I feel the same exact freaking way. So I didn't play Sonic a huge amount when I was a kid because I never had a Sega Genesis, but I had a childhood friend who had a Sega Genesis, so I did play a few times when I was at her house, right? And I did have a Sonic game for the PS2, but I didn't play it a whole amount. But, right, before I got into GTA and everything, right, on the PS4, on the PlayStation Store, I was trying to see like what I could download to play, and I had already played Sims and enjoying it, and I was like, what else is available that isn't a whole lot of money that I can, have fun? And I saw Sonic, right? And I think it was Sonic Adventure, and I sat there and go, oh yeah, I liked Sonic when I was younger. Let me do it. Brittany, do you know how many times when I did the water level I had to put the controller down and walk away? I was like, you asshole, stop it. And it's like, you're going. And then all of a sudden the water starts, right? And it's like, no.
I know. It's like,
and I know what you mean. This, and then I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's like, I know what you mean with the music where you're like.
The music makes it worse. The music makes it so much worse.
Oh my God. And then I sit there and I go, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. And then you have to, again, redo the fucking whole level all over again.
I know. I always hated that where it's like, oh, or if you did, that was my thing with Mario is remember when you would lose all your lives and you're like, oh, I have to like actually restart now. This is kind of the worst.
Oh, what, where you have to legitimately like restart the entire game.
Yes.
And it's like, what? And for some reason, the Sonic games, when you do that, feel so much more frustrating than Super Mario Brothers, because Super Mario Brothers is kind of similar, right? You accrue lives, and if you run out of your lives, then you have to legitimately go through the whole entire thing again. And even though maybe you'd be like, oh, no, shit. I don't know. I never got to that level where I was like, this motherfucking game.
I know. I've never had like, I'm trying to think if I've ever had a freak. I don't think I've ever had a freak out.
It's not that I had a freak out. It's just I literally gave up on Sonic because it didn't feel satisfying to me.
It was fun, but it wasn't like we're like, oh, I beat it. I'm like, oh my god. It was like, okay, now I got another fucking level. Blah.
It felt annoying at some point. I think I literally stopped, and then I remember a few months ago, Paulie and I were trying to make more room on the PS4, and I was like, I'm just going to delete the Sonic game. I'm not going to play it again.
You tell yourself you're going to play it. You're like, no. That's a lie. I'm not doing that.
At this point, I was like, I'm just going to keep Sims, even though it's been a while since I've played Sims, and I'm sure all my characters are dead now at this point. So,
I was thinking about Sims the other day. I need to play that again. That was fun.
I love Sims. I was telling Joanne, I said, if Sims allowed you to drive, I said, I feel like it'd be the perfect role-playing game. You know?
Right.
You could do everything else, but you can't drive in it.
I was gonna say too. Have you played GTA 5 online?
No. Well, let me correct myself. I've tried and I've died every time. I can't take one step out of my safe house before someone nukes me, and I'm like, this isn't even fun. This isn't even fun. And
You're like, why can't we be friends?
And I want to play it because there's missions in GTA Online where you interact with characters from the story mode, right? Lamar, there's Trevor. There's like 5 Trevor missions. I want to play them so badly, but I literally can't because I get nuked every 2 seconds.
That's because people are the fucking worst.
I know, I can. It's like, I get it, haha, like it's playing online, but I mean, you're literally impeding me from like playing.
I'm like, this fucking noob. You don't know what the fuck she's doing.
I also don't like it because literally I can hear everyone talking, and it's like, I don't know if people know how annoying it is to hear them talking about like their food or like blasting music, and it's like, people can hear you, right?
I know. Also, there's some like where you can like role play that are cool, where it's like you get in character. Like some people role play cops, people role play criminals. There was one guy I watched that was like, he was like ex-bad, and he runs a restaurant now, and he doesn't allow criminals really just cause shit in his restaurant, and if he does, that's when he murders them. But he's like, but if not, you're cool.
I mean, yeah, I get that. For people who kind of have mastered the online, that's great. I'm just more of a story mode like player. I would love to play online, but it's just, I guess I'm just too inexperienced and like don't know how to navigate myself around GTA Online to even have
Girl,
fun,
I feel that.
So yeah, but getting back to your number 2 at Sonic, the water levels suck. Why do the water levels in all of those old games suck? Like because
they cause such panic. They make you actually feel like you're about to drown, like your time's running out.
The Sonic water levels suck. The Mario Brothers water levels suck. It's like, please stop making your games with water levels.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like the trauma that we had. They're like, how were you damaged when you were younger? And it's like,
the water levels.
Water levels. Anything water, like with Zelda water levels, Mario water, all of it. They can throw it in the trash.
The trash? Throw it in there.
Killed her husband, whacked him. Carol Baskin. And I don't know why that reminded me of that.
I was going to say really quick, again, like, I literally stopped playing Sonic because of the water level. I did beat it at once, right? I did beat it. So it's not like I didn't beat it, but I was so unsatisfied when I beat it that I was like, I don't even want to play this. Fuck this game.
Fuck this game.
Oh my God. So yeah, I feel like we have a lot of expletives this podcast. That's just what happens.
I tried to behave earlier. And you know what? It didn't work out.
It's just what happens when you play, like, you talk about video games. Yeah. But so everyone, we are down to the number 1 on our top 10 most difficult / frustrating, most tedious missions and levels in video games. Of course, I always got to go through all of the lists before we get down to the number 1. We have number 10 is the escort mission in Resident Evil 4. Number 9 is the final level in Super Mario Brothers. Number 8 is the Test of Strength from the Star Fox Adventures. Number 7 is Through the Fire and the Flames from Guitar Hero 3. Number 6 is the ice levels from Pokemon, also kind of having to do with water,
Fuck water. Who needs it to survive?
Number 5 is the Alaska track from SSX Tricky. Number 4 is the water levels from Ocarina of Time. Number 3 is the mission Three Leaf Clover from GTA 4. Number 2 is the water levels from any Sonic game. And number 1 is another from GTA 4. And it is the final mission called Out of Commission. And let me explain this, right? So let me give you some background. So in GTA 4 at the end, you have 2 options, right? As Nico, you can either choose to work with this guy, Dimitri, who has betrayed you in the past and kidnapped Roman and everything. You can work with him on a final deal, which will give you a shit ton of money, but he will betray you in the end and try and shoot you. Well, he'll send his men to try and shoot you at Roman's wedding, killing Roman, right? And so that end final scene is called A Revenger's Tragedy. Out of Commission is the other choice. So as Nico, again, you're given the option to work with Dimitri, but instead you decide to go kill Dimitri because you're like, fuck that guy. He betrayed me in the past. He's kidnapped Roman, and he's been the bane of my existence this entire game. So you go and kill Dimitri. And then this other mob boss, Jimmy Pecorino, who was working with Dimitri, right, sends people to shoot up Roman's wedding, which kills Kate, Nico's girlfriend, right? So the Out of Commission is that final battle. And to me, I did this shit. this one I did so many times. So again, let me walk you through it and why.
Oh no.
Me. So again, you're Nico, you're pissed. You got to drive to this old abandoned factory on the outskirts of town because that's where Jimmy is holed up in, right? You got to shoot all the goons that are outside. Then you got to go through the factory and shoot all those goons. And then you got to follow Jimmy out and you got to shoot all those goons because there's more. Then Jimmy...
Oh, shit.
Then Jimmy gets on a little boat and he's going away. And then you have to hop on this motorcycle and drive alongside the banks of the water area, chasing after where Jimmy is. Now, this is already difficult because the motorcycle driving functions in GTA 4 suck. You take the...
Just struggling.
It's so difficult to turn. It's so difficult to, stop. If you hit... Even if you're going, so slow and you hit something, it immediately flings Nico off of the bike, and he takes literally 5 fucking years to get back on the bike. And by the way, the game gives you no time at all, because if this happens, it instantly goes, Jimmy got away, and then you got to redo the thing. So then So you're doing that. That's already difficult. Then at some point, Roman and little Jacob, who's one of Nico's friends, fly above you in a helicopter. And you have to take this ramp to fly up on your bike to catch onto the helicopter. But the thing is...
What the fuck? What kind of James Bond shit is this?
But you have to go at this ramp at such a speed in order to be able to do it, because if you don't get that speed, then you just flop in the water and then you lose the mission. But the thing is, it's like, again, you're making such twists and turns because the bike function sucks so much. It's like you have to be so careful while you go around these turns, which means then you don't get enough speed to finally get over the thing. So then that happens, right? So then you got to get up into the helicopter, which requires a very fast, rapid button smashing. Then once you're in the helicopter, you have to not only shoot at Jimmy's helicopter, but you have to, navigate it. And that already sucks. All the while Jimmy is shooting at you. So you got to make sure your plane doesn't...
Jimmy.
So then you got to make sure your helicopter doesn't get shot. But then you have to make sure that you shoot him, because then that sequence is his helicopter crashing down and you crashing down. And then you got to chase it. It's a lot. It's really long. And there's a lot going on. And at any point you could fail. And again, you just have to do all that all over again. So even if you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I finally got enough speed to get over this ramp to get into the helicopter, all of that is for naught if you can't shoot down Jimmy's helicopter.
That sounds like the fucking worst. How many times did it take you?
I know I sound like I'm over-exaggerating, but it literally took me like 10 or 11 times because I tried a few times one time, and I literally had to pause it and walk away, and I came back the next day and did it again.
You had to regroup. You were like, this sucks.
I had to regroup because I sat there and said to myself, it's so much of what makes it difficult for me is just the bike ride section of it, because
I hate, and I will say I have played a different game where it kind of had those driving functions in it, and I was like, this is the worst thing I have ever touched in my life.
It's so bad because it makes such shitty turns. And again, if you lightly touch something, it'll fling you off your bike, and Nico takes forever to stand up, walk back to the bike, pick the bike up, get back on it, and you're like, do you not realize you're chasing after the man who's responsible for the death of your girlfriend? Hurry up!
But you're also like, you did get flung off a motorcycle, so...
I don't care.
Oh my God!
I'm just saying because, so I played GTA 4 once, right? And then I just recently played it the second time. And I decided this time to unfortunately go with the one that kills Roman. And so I did that final mission, which is very similar, but as opposed to Nico chasing after Jimmy in a bike, it's Nico chasing after Dimitri in a boat, and the boating is much better than the bike. And I'm like, I hate that I had to kill Roman in this one, but I do like this final mission better.
Oh, man, I'm going to say, I know Kate's great or whatever, but I wouldn't be able to kill Roman.
Oh, God, I really struggled because I'm like, I know it's a video game, but I don't want to kill Cousin.
Right. I'm going to say, there's so many, I've read things where it's Nico is the most tragic GTA character of all time. Because he can't be happy and all he wanted was a better life. While all these other people are normally super selfish, like Trevor and Michael. Mm-hmm. And it's he truly just wanted a better life, and he did not get it.
He did not get it because either way, he's losing someone that he cared for. And the thing is, so obviously if you choose the one that kills Kate, it's Kate dies. And for him, Kate was kind of his salvation, his chance to have this normal, settled down life. But then if you choose to have Roman killed, Kate breaks up with you.
What the fuck? Yeah, just let Kate die. Never mind. Fuck her.
She literally breaks up with you. She's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, but you literally went against your morals to work with the man who, had betrayed you in the past and everything. And I just can't raise children with a man like you and everything. And I'm like, so he doesn't get Roman. He doesn't get Kate. And I'm like, fuck.
Might as well keep your cousin. Gambling addiction and all.
Oh, I do love when Nico does yell at Roman at some point. He's like, what's the point of me making all this money? You're just going to gamble it away.
I really need to play this.
Nico really is the most tragic character. Because can I tell you one last thing?
Yeah.
So in GTA 4, there's a lot of incidences where you have to make decisions. Like, that's not the only one. At some point, so Nico's like whole thing throughout the game is that he wants to confront this guy Darko Brevic, because this guy was part of Nico's squad back in the war who betrayed him and got like 8 of his friends killed, right? And so at some point in the game, as Nico, you end up doing like odd jobs for the government, right? The CIA. And the guy promises Nico, like, you do these things for me, I will find this guy and I will literally bring him to New York, like Liberty City. And he does. So as Nico, you have the ability to choose whether to let this guy live or die. And before you decide to kill him or not, he has this thing where he says, like, he did it because he's this massive drug addict and he needed money, honestly, for drugs. And that's why he sold you guys out. And he even says to Nico, like, kill me. You'll be doing me a favor. And Roman is with you at this point. And Roman goes, come on, Nico, like, he suffered enough. It won't bring anyone back. Now, if you let Darko live, Nico has this whole thing like, what was I thinking? I, just let the man who, is responsible for killing 8 of my friends live, da, da, da. But if you kill Darko, he literally has this whole speech about how that ruined him. He is like soulless and he feels nothing right now. And it's like, Nico is so tragic.
You can't win no matter what. Tia, did you just get like another star in GTA or something because of the sirens?
The sirens are blasting, apparently.
They are coming for you, Tia.
No,
What'd you do now?
Nico is so tragic, but it is literally, I love GTA 4, and I have decided that I love GTA 4 more than I love GTA 5.
But sorry for a second there. So we have the 5 cats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aaron just walked by with one of the cats draped in his arm, flopped out, and I just hear him go, psst, so I can see this glorious cat in all of his glory. It was Nami, looking just so fluffy.
Oh my god, I love it.
I know, it's like, you got lady, I got 5 cats. Actually, you have. How many cats do you have?
I have 4 cats, so...
Okay, we're even. You just have a dog. And then to be fair, your cats are bigger than your dogs.
My cats are bigger than my dogs. So yeah, my final will be the out of commission mission from GTA 4, which is the one that if you decide to kill Dimitri and Kate dies, which I do suggest for those who are listening. Because why would you want
let her die?
Yeah, why would you want Roman to die? That's literally your cousin.
Yeah, I was joking because I thought I misunderstood you, but you're like, yeah, let her die.
Because then if you do the other, your cousin dies and then you find out after, because he literally just got married and you find out afterwards his wife is pregnant. And it's like, why are you going to leave your sister-in-law without, a baby daddy? So,
Well, no. See, what happens is Kate breaks up with you and you become her baby daddy. And you take over his life. It's fine.
Well, Nico does tell Mallory that she'll never have to want for anything, that kid will be taken care of the rest of his life. So, Nico does kind of like insinuate that. But Brittany, before we wrap up this evening, do you have any honorable mentions that you feel like throwing out there?
I think I had like probably Dark Souls. I'm trying to think of any others. just hard. I'm trying to think back to like childhood stuff, but there was like Sonic Adventure Battle 2. The final boss is hard. What else was there? I'm trying to think just off. Some of Banjo-Kazooie was really fucking hard. There's a ton of them, Tia.
Ton of them. I will say that there was actually a few, whatchamacallit. There were a few missions in Arkham Asylum, like the Batman game.
Oh my God.
That were pretty difficult for me because I did play that back in the day, and especially the Riddler ones. Not the Riddler, I'm sorry, the Scarecrow one. That was difficult.
Dick, but his missions were so cool, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a great game. Like, no wonder it spawned off so many others. But I just felt like it was pretty difficult. And there were, I would say that the most tedious mission in GTA 5 is when you're Trevor and you literally have to, like, scope out a boat dock because you're literally dealing with this guy Floyd, who is the most annoying fucking character I've ever met, ever. Oh, one last thing. In GTA 4, the DLC, The Lost and the Damned, when you play as Johnny and you have to break into the prison to kill your old chapter president, that one was pretty difficult. So yeah. There you go. But yeah, so these are our 10 missions and levels in video games that we found to be particularly either difficult, tedious, whatnot. I would love to hear those who listen to us, what they think and what if they agree with our list and what missions and levels they think that we should have added. I definitely want to do more video game lists because this was a ton of fun. But Brittany, why don't you let everyone know where they can find you and what you got going on next?
So you can always find me on Twitch at Itty Bitty Brit. I've been playing a lot of Drug Dealer Simulator, which has been a really fun time, as messed up as that sounds, speaking of GTA. I've also been playing a lot of Mario Kart, even though I'm not good at it, but I'm good enough to beat Tia. And then, I'm trying to think, I have to throw that jab in. And then you can find me on Twitter at Itty Bitty Brit 0.
Yes, please, everyone, make sure that you check out Brittany. She's a very dedicated streamer who spends a lot of time trying to entertain you all, even though we all know I will beat her at Mario Kart.
Wow. It sounds like a lie, but okay. You beat me at SSX Tricky. But you know what? Mario Kart's my domain, lady.
Okay, we shall see. But please, everyone, make sure that you go check her out. Please check out our stuff. Geek5snation.com has links to all of our social media. We also have merch. If you have not checked that out, please do. I will put all of that in the description on the YouTube channel, but you could also check our merch out on our website, which is geek5snation.com. If you put in GVN10, you will get a discount when purchasing one of our items. We would really appreciate it, so please make sure you check that out. As for me, I only want to say that if you go to Geek Vibes Podcast, which is our YouTube channel, I have 2 interviews that I'd love to plug, one being with Luke Cook, the guy who played Lucifer on The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, as well as Michael Waldron, who is the screenwriter for the Loki series, as well as Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That was an awesome interview, so please make sure that you check that out. If you feel like following me on my social media accounts, you can check me out on Twitter and Instagram, TC_Stark. Thank you, everyone, again. And until next time, we will see you later. Bye.
Bye, guys.
There are so many reasons not to skip breakfast. So many savory, mouth-watering, tasty, delicious beyond all belief reasons. Actually, that last one was pretty convincing. Stop by for a McDonald's breakfast. Mix and match a sausage biscuit, sausage McMuffin, sausage burrito, or hash browns, any 2 for just $2. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with combo meal.
Maddie's believes nature is beautiful, majestic, serene. But human nature is inventive, intrepid, reckless. Nature says, look how many colors I can fit in a sunset. Human nature says, look how many hot wings I can fit in my mouth. But human nature needs nature. That's why there's Maddie's All-Natural Acid and Indigestion Relief, a drug-free remedy for human nature, available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, and Amazon. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.